Welcome to another installment of the live inspirational community collaboration show. This is Feel It Friday. Feel It Friday. Better turn my phone off. And yes, I have a brand new close-up camera. I'm not sure. Is my makeup good? How's my makeup? Good? Good? All right, lovely. Today we have some wonderful guests with hard to pronounce names. I'm going to go for it. All right. I'll introduce Satyam Vinaya. Satyam Vinaya in a minute. But afterwards, in an hour, we have wonderful Izzy Israel Shenandoah. Oh, he's changed his name and reclaimed his tribal sense, and it's now hard for me to pronounce. Anyway, he is a wonderful being, bringing music and light and ceremony and tribal nations back together, and bringing the wisdom that the tribal nations have back together into a circular harnessing of sound. And that's in an hour at 10 Pacific Standard. Right now, we have, as I said, Satyam Vinaya, who is a Karmic Awareness Catalyst. I'm going to bring him in so you can see him while I'm talking about him in this seamless transition into now my face is even bigger. Welcome, Vinaya. Is a Karmic Awareness Catalyst, a psychic reader, spiritual advisor, and coach who's been helping people discover how to celebrate life for over 30 years. I changed that for you. I thought it was better. His wisdom and insight have been deeply informed by having lived in the presence of Osho, been a sannyasin with Osho for 15 years. Vinaya will be sharing tools to understanding that we're all creators of our own life, and how to become living examples to ourselves of this. So welcome, Vinaya. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Most pleasurable.
Now,
Thank you.
Where are you? Because I think your internet's a bit bobbins, right? Where are you?
Yes, it's a little bit challenging. I'm in the mountains of Costa Rica, being stuck from the quarantine. Can't go back to where I normally lived for the last few years in Ecuador.
Right. And originally, where are you from?
I was born in Germany. And lived my first 20 years in Germany. And as a history, I finally figured out that I can't be a good German. There must be more to life than just doing the normal thing. And I left for India, stayed there for like 12 years or something.
Now, what year did you grow up in Germany?
Say what again?
What year did you grow up in Germany?
I was born 54, so I'm 66 right now. Nice number. And I grew up in Hamburg, middle class, all good, no problems. And the benefit of that was that, this is boring. this can't be it.
So then you went. So you went to India.
41. Sorry.
So then you went to India. Tell us about that.
Yes. Then I really went on the search of like there must be more to life than meets the eye sort of thing. And so I went to India. I had that as a dream when I was a kid. And when I finally decided that life in the normality, so to speak, is not really what I'm looking for, I remember that, and I went to India overland. It was still possible at that time.
Oh, wow.
I had an amazing adventure visiting all these different cultures and countries, and arrived in India, and then started really looking for some spirituality, some answer to what is this life all about. And I met few sadhus and saints and this and that, and that didn't quite give me an answer. And then I met Osho. Then I arrived in Pune, and that was the most blessed moment in my life, because then I finally met somebody who actually found something which is indescribable, but it was then really clear for me that yes, there's more to life than meets the eye. And that changed my life to the unbelievable. It was just wow.
So you sat with Osho in Pune, and then you went to you also went to the Oregon compound, right?
Yes. Yeah, I was in Pune 1, which was before Oregon, and dabbled a little bit in meditation and did some workshops and groups and started working on myself. And then Osho left for America, and so I followed. And stayed at the commune as much as was possible. Being a German, you had to leave every now and then because of visa reasons. And when he went back to India, the first thing basically I did is when he arrived back in Pune, I hightailed it down there,
right,
and stayed basically till he left. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's got to be some experience. And so, for people who don't know about the compound in Oregon, I think the Wild Wild Country is a good introduction to it, even though a lot of people who have come out of the commune have said that it was a little bit biased.
Yeah, it's one can say whatever one wants about the correctness, so to speak, of the documentary, and I can go into that a little bit better. But for me also, what was very beautiful in a certain way is after Osho left his body, the knowledge or the interest pretty much went down, because all the sannyasins just went into all directions and did their own thing. And suddenly he's back in the eye of the public, and even though it is sort of negative, it does give nice advertisement, and people who are drawn to it or suddenly know about it, who never heard about him before, suddenly start then figuring out, okay, let me check out, what is this about this guy?
Right.
Is that really true what they say there, or is there something more to it? So in a certain way, it was really beautiful. In another way, it was very one-sided. And I've lived there for quite a bit, and it was the most fantastic experiment in my book of how to live together.
Right.
To be in a commune, to be really self-sustainable, turning a barren landscape into a beautiful, fruitful gardens and lakes and whatnot. And really also learning how to live together without all our different personalities and likes and dislikes and all of that. So it was a wonderful experience, really.
Were there systems to deal with conflict resolution? How did, when the arguments inevitably broke out between the humans, what was the process?
Well, the one thing you learn really by not studying but experiencing Osho and working on myself is that we all have our stories, we all have our challenges, we all have a different makeup, and that certainly clashes with, we can clash with each other.
Right.
But the understanding really as a sannyasin, as somebody who, the sannyasin is basically somebody who works on oneself, and the basic understanding we really got from Osho was that nothing is personal, and we just have to look at why is this person is triggering me,
right?
What is happening, and then really looking into myself and seeing what is my problem, what's my program, what's my challenges, and then I'm working on that challenge,
right,
myself. And everybody basically was working under that pretense, and everybody had that understanding that it's me and how I see the world and how I relate to it, and I need to change my world in order to change the outside world. And so it was challenging in times, yes, there was encounters and there was arguments and there was this and that, and really everybody was on the same boat. What is the story in me? How can I become more aware, more conscious about my programs and my makeup. So in a certain way, it was actually very easy because, it was in a surrounding where like everybody was basically on the same boat, learning and understanding about themselves.
Right. And there was a kind of automatic assumption that if there was a problem, it was in you first.
Yeah, it's always me first because I am acting and responding and functioning in this world out of my programs and out of my unconscious.
Right.
And I sent you a quote from Lao Tzu, and basically it's also what all the masters really say. If I want to change the world, I first have to change myself, become aware of myself, become aware of my programs, and then really having a look, see, is that really me? Do I really function that way? Or is that for my parents or my society or my priest or whatever? So everybody was working on themselves and really also understanding that if I don't love myself or have love inside myself, how can I love somebody else?
Right.
If I'm in misery, how can I bring joy to the world? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So first, foremost is me. And when I become clean and healthy, so to speak, I don't even need to do anything. Just my presence will make people like, what's going on? How?
Right.
Why?
Right. And in fact, that's, I mean, I've done quite a few of these interviews now, and that's a returning message that seems to be coming up, that make the change first within, no matter how great the changes are outside, make them first within, and that's where the resonant field begins.
Yes, and it's also like it was funny when I was at school at history. We were learning all these things, mainly wars and conquering and stuff like this. And I asked my teacher at one point, "So why are we learning all this? What's the point?" And the answer was, so we can learn out of history. So I had a look-see, and what I really learned out of history is that no matter how good the intention was of the revolutionaries, they were still in the old system inside and still running in their unconscious. And then the name was maybe different, and there was some little difference in the story, but basically it stayed the same.
Right.
And so the understanding is really, yes, first I need to clear myself out of my programs, become aware of my unconscious. And when I change, when I learn, when I look at my dark side, so to speak, and come to terms with it and really bring awareness into it, that basically just leaves.
What leaves? What leaves?
Like you say, the field is like going out, and the change can happen without actually doing a revolution. It's the inner revolution.
Right, the inner revolution. But you said it leaves, but I lost what leaves.
When there's a nice story of a mystic who was seen outside his hut looking for something, and the villagers came and go like, "Hey, what are you looking for? You lost something?" "Yeah, I lost a needle." "Okay, we help you." And then after a while somebody goes, "Hey, do you have any idea whereabouts did you lose your needle?" And he goes, "Yeah, inside the hut." "Wait a minute, why are we looking outside?" Because there's light. It's dark inside the hut." And then somebody says, "Well, why don't you bring light inside?" And the mystic was laughing, and he goes, "You know the answer. Awareness brings light inside. And when I bring light into these stories I say about it, like programs and ideas and knowledge we have, then we can actually see, oh, wait a minute, is that correct? Is that actually true? And through this light of awareness, like I have had programs, I had this story of being unworthy. And so I was together with a partner, and I felt so unworthy. And so I brought light into this. Like, why do I feel unworthy? And then I figured out, oh, it's because my father, or whatever the story was.
Right.
And then I could really see that, wait a minute, is that true? No. The unworthiness disappeared. Yeah, so if I bring light in, it's gone.
So what's that process? How does somebody who's like, okay, so I've got some anger, I've got some resentment, how do they bring light into the inner world?
Okay, well, for example, anger or unworthiness. The first step is to accept that I am angry, or that there is anger in my field. And I don't put it down and put it away because anger is not good and we're not allowed to do this, or crying or sadness or whatever comes up.
Yeah.
So first, it's expression of that. Doesn't mean that I have to punch you, but I can run around the block and scream or punch a pillow or what, but I express this energy. So I don't have a tension inside.
Right.
And then I can have a look, see, so why did this anger come up? Or because the person said you're arrogant. And okay, I'm arrogant. Is that really true? And then with awareness, with just questioning.
Right.
Asking,
Curiosity, yeah?
Then I suddenly see, for example, with this arrogance, well, that's a projection of that person, but I'm taking that on. Accept that as a truth. It's a process. It's actually very easy. It just needs a little bit courage to look inside and not blame the outside.
Right. So it sounds like it's...
I don't know if that...
Yeah. So it sounds like the notion is acceptance, first foremost, expression,
yes.
expression in some way, allow it to be
yes.
flowing, and then allow a curiosity, a questioning of like... a curious exploration of.
Yes. Seeing if that, with this unworthiness, I got that from my father. He always told me I have two left hands and I can't do anything, and all this good stuff. And so first I have to be good to be able to receive something or to be worthy. But by bringing light in, first, okay, the one step also Osho really often mentioned is like, go really into it. Really be unworthy, in my example. Right. So I really felt the pain, I really felt the suffering, and like how bad it feels and stuff. And it just disappeared by just expressing it or being it completely. And then I had the freedom to look. Right. And this seeing that it comes from my father, and then actually really, that has nothing to do with me. That was his story. And then I could look, well, am I really worthy? Yeah, because
So then we've got additional things. So it's like acceptance, feel it deeply, really feel it, express it, be curious with it, and even after curiosity, maybe there's forgiveness. Forgive either yourself or others, or...
I didn't get the last point.
The question was more about after curiosity. Is it forgiveness?
Yeah.
Is it forgiveness?
I don't need to forgive myself. I just need to see that is through awareness. I see. Yeah, it can play a role when, for example, if I go against my heart. I want to do something. And I want to express something, and I don't do it for whatever reason, and I become aware of that, yes, I need to forgive myself for being stupid again and going with some other agenda. And yes, that also plays a big role. The biggest tool or the biggest healing comes really through awareness. What this mystic means, bring light into the story. Become aware of that. And that is, this awareness is being the observer of what's happening in me. Also, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but it goes into this observer space, yeah, which is one of the most beautiful tools Osho gave us. It's basically a disidentification with what is happening.
A disidentification?
Yes, because the understanding is, if I'm able to observe something, an object,
Yes.
I have to be separate. I have to be outside this object in order to be able to observe it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
If I would see this crystal I'm holding in my hand, I couldn't see it because I'm
Right.
it.
Right.
So applying that to basically everything, including my body. I can see my body. I can observe my body. Even when I close my eyes, I'm still aware of it. I'm the one who is observing, aware of the body. The same goes for my mind and my emotions. So when I get this observer space into this watcher space, when there's anger, it's not that I am angry. There is an experience of anger, and there is anger, but I am observing it. I'm becoming aware of it. I'm the watcher.
Right.
I'm disidentified.
Right.
Pain, same thing. Mind you, pain in the physical body, for example, doesn't go away necessarily, but it works like opium, which doesn't take the pain away, but the pain is somewhere over there.
Right.
I don't have anything to do with it. And I'm free because I'm not identified with suffering, misery, pain, all of these things. It's like it's like a constant remembering to be in this watcher space.
Right. The observer.
The more I have worked on myself to get rid of my programs and become aware of my programs, the more easy it is to be in that space.
Right. Right.
And that makes life just absolutely fantastic.
Okay, hold on. I'm doing this. Oh, I'm done with the big fat camera. You won't notice any difference, but the viewers will. I changed the view. I love what you said. There is an obviousness to it. There's an obviousness to it, and you know, sometimes things are so obvious that we miss them.
Yes, because we are identified.
Right. So have you done any work with? What other techniques can we use to disidentify with the one element of? It almost seems like, you know, the horse with the blinkers on, so that you know they don't see anything else. How do we become wide angle?
We become wide angled by actually walking the walk.
Right.
Not learning about something, but actually doing it. And for that, I also created a beautiful 5-week course of becoming the watcher. And we start with the outside, and the first week is actually, we can put a link later on so people can try this out, but basically the first week is you watch a movie or your favorite TV show not at least, once a day.
Okay.
And the exercise is to be absolutely aware that I'm sitting on the couch watching the movie on the screen. And I will find in moments where I get identified with the actor. Oh, what a dude, or I get sad, or what. I really get identified with the story which is going out in the screen. Then I just have to remember, wait, hang on a second here. I'm not that person. I'm sitting on the couch watching this movie, which is just somebody acting something out. That would be a very beautiful get into being this watcher. And it's basically really, yes, I can understand all this, but if I don't walk the walk, nothing is going to happen. And it's a little bit of a process, but easy is right and right is easy. I've heard Osho say many times. And it's actually relatively easy. I just have to have the courage to be open to really change my life and forget everything I knew so far about myself.
Right.
Which, yeah.
I mean, people. This has come up, of course, as well. People are attached to who they think they are.
Yes.
And in a way, they can even like the discomfort of who they are, like the pain.
Yes, because it's known, and
right.
going
Familiar.
on the path of self-discovery is going into the unknown.
Right.
And that's one of our biggest fears. I don't know, but I know my pain, and I might not necessarily like it, but it's in a comfort zone. I don't need to change.
Right.
So the first step really would be to examine my life and really questioning, is that really wow? Is that really beautiful? Or am I just dragging my body towards the grave? And I'm actually happy when this is done. And if the answer is no, I just have to take the courage and expand myself and go into the unknown. And that's where also my gift comes, or my ability to share and bring people on this path, because when they come in contact with me, like, how the heck can you function in this crazy world and be constantly happy? Nothing phases you. You're just laughing and celebrating whatever happens. It's like this, yeah?
Yes.
So becoming aware that is a possibility, and that my life so far, yeah, it's great to have 3-week holiday and I'm happy about that, but that's not really it. And once I really become aware of that, then in my book, I don't have much of a choice, but I have to change, or I have to at least look and see if that what I understand about myself is really true.
Right.
It's for everybody.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, your life gonna be like from, oh, it's right. Yeah, cool. Wow. And every moment can be a wow moment, like a drinking in of this gift we have. Existence gave us this gift to be able to experience this. And yeah, it's crazy. Planet Earth is quite different. But it's fantastic. It's amazing. It's just wow. With all the experiences, and not putting a judgment on, oh, this is bad or this is good or whatever. No, just the way it is, and I'm experiencing something. I'm not identified.
So
it's undescribable.
So I mean, you know, it's great from the perspective of the neutrality. How do people, when there's a lot of trauma going on in their life, how do they start to? Because obviously, the more trauma that's going on, the more you want to change it, the more you want to make it something else, and so there has to be a judgment somewhere that this is good and this is bad, and so how do we both manipulate the life towards the good stuff and simultaneously kind of say, hey, it's all perfect?
Okay. First thing is to just change my perspective from the judgment of this is beneficial, this is a blessing, this is a curse, this is good, this is bad, to really going like, oh, I don't really know if this is good or bad. I just know this is so. The suchness of the situation.
Right.
Yeah, I break my leg. I think that's bad, but actually I don't know. It might be that breaking of my leg prevents me from something else, right? Or brings me into a space where I can receive a gift or whatever, or find some love. I have no idea.
Right.
So the first step would be, this is the way it is. All right, I have a broken leg, it's painful, and I don't necessarily have a good time with it, but this is the way it is. So I accept it the way it is, without judgment.
Right.
That would be the first step, really. And what it also does is, you know, if I want, the other thing is, if I want to change something, if I don't like something about myself or a situation or what, I'm actually in the future, and the future doesn't exist.
Hold on. How come? If you don't like something about yourself...
Because it's not here. Sorry, you cut out. What
yeah.
was that?
So, but you're saying if you don't like something about yourself, it's in the future.
Yeah, then I say, okay, I don't like that I'm angry, since we talk about anger, right? And so I would like to be without anger. That's looking at some future story, which is not happening right now. Right now, I am angry. But going into the future and wanting to change something which is, brings me out of this moment.
Right.
And if you really look at the past and the future, they don't really exist. I have no idea where the future goes. So all these projections are not really reality. And the past is already past. The only thing I really do have is this moment. Right. And so when I'm not trying to change myself, it's really crazy, because I want to be in bliss and joyous and life fantastic and all of that good stuff. So there is this intention maybe that I want to be in that space, but right now I'm not. But then when I'm really in this moment and look at this moment, 99% of the time, okay, if I have physical pain, then not necessarily so, but everything is absolutely perfect right now. I'm in the body, I'm alive, I have food, I have shelter, or not, but even if I sit under a bridge, it's all good right now. I'm really, and it's not a spiritual bypassing where saying, oh, all is good, yeah, even though it's not. No, it's really recognizing that right now, in this moment, there's nothing lacking. I'm alive. And then I'm here. It's somewhat crazy. There's this explanation, this saying of the masters: "Be impatiently patient." It's like we have to do something in order to become self-aware. But the trick is to be in the moment and accept what is right now.
Right.
Be present.
Right.
And through that awareness, everything changes and everything, all the doors opening. Then I suddenly, because then I'm aware what my heart suddenly says. I'm not in the future thinking about going to the market later because I need some food. I'm not here. And when I'm in the market, I'm thinking about how to cook the food when I'm at home. I'm not in the market. And I don't really see what's going on. I don't really experience life. And that's all what there is, as far as I'm concerned, because being more and more in that space, it's like, yeah. And if fear comes up, yeah, if I'm under the bridge and homeless in a week or two, or I get killed through a vaccination, I figure out how I respond to that in the moment.
Right.
But right now, it's not there. It's like I cross the bridge when I get there.
You know, I mean, that's wonderful philosophy. It seems to be against what society generally trains us to do. You know, build your career, get it up, prepare for the future, get your pension and all that jazz. So why is it that society is missing the point so much in its general education of children?
You know, when I came to this planet and when I became a little bit more aware that I'm like in my teenage years or also a little bit before, I never understood how people function. It was completely alien to me. And I really don't have an answer why this is so.
Right.
Osho mentioned often is that, or I understood it in such a way that being like the fish in the sea is not thirsty. If I'm in bliss and happiness all the time, there's no point in changing. But if I have a challenge, if there is challenge in my life, then I have the ability to grow. And no, I do not understand why. Well, I kind of have a taste, but why do I need to be out of the ocean to be able to come back into the ocean? And that is one of the mysteries of life. I really don't know. But I saw through Osho, through his presence, through his beingness, that coming back home before we leave the body is why we are here. And we are here to wake up, to become self-conscious, to become aware. And I guess all these challenges, all this craziness is a tool for us to become self-aware. My take on it, since I'm not there yet, so to speak, but I had so many tastes from Osho and some moments where I was in that space of no mind. Yeah, that I know that all this beauty and craziness is just a tool for us to wake up. And I invite everybody to go there, because if you really look back at your life, is it really worthwhile living? What's the idea?
Yeah.
You know? You know?
Yeah.
What's the idea?
What was the saying? Like even if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. You know? Yes. And also in my experience, I realized that as soon as I became more conscious of my stories and aware and be able to make a choice every moment if I want to play this game or not. Right.
Existence just supplies me with whatever I need. And I might not know what I need, but I trust and know that whatever comes, even the accident or whatever, is needed for me to wake up. And this wake up business is really, when I started searching, knowing that if I just wake up and be born and then I die and I forget everything, what's the point? There is no point. Yeah, it's like, and then what? Even if I get reborn, I don't remember. So what's the point? And experiencing Osho and this undescribable beingness, that's where I want to go. And yes, I'm scared shitless to lose my ego,
Right.
lose my identity.
Right.
But I had enough taste of how it is when I'm in a space of not being Vinaya. Yeah, and it's really like just an open invitation. And hey, if you're satisfied with your misery and your little bliss and happiness and your life, great. That's your experience. But if you're not, if you want something more, right? You want the ice cream, yeah? You always see it far away. Then start looking inside, becoming more conscious, become more aware, and take the plunge.
Take the plunge.
And take the plunge, take the jump. You know, it's like, yeah, if you're not satisfied, change it. But the only change is really, like the mystic Ravinya said, bring light inside, bring awareness into my being. And it's what the masters tell us for ages.
Right.
You know, become conscious, become aware. And yeah, I would love, it's like, I remember many times not understanding how this functioning here and how joyful, even before I met Osho, my life was. It's like, guys, there is no point in being in misery. Why? Look, it's amazing.
But though it's like, it makes sense to us because we've had experiences or realizations inside the beyond mind. But to the people who have never come across this or have never had a taste of what the divine is outside of ego, outside of personality, it's like you can't tell anyone. It's like, you know, I sometimes wish that I could do a Vulcan mind meld, you know, and show people what it is. Yeah, exactly. But again, it seems to be the best way to get that people get it is by us demonstrating, being it.
Yes, we have to be the example. We who had a taste want to go more deeply into this beauty of existence, and through an example make people curious. Hey, what's different with this guy? Why is he not faced by what?
Right.
Yeah, why he's kind of glowing and shining, or his eyes, like there's something different. And for us who had the taste, that's our job. To just, and not to be a missionary, right? I'm not going around and say, hey, do this, do that, do this.
Right.
No, I'm just being myself. And through that, I can spark curiosity.
Right.
And when they come and ask, great.
Right.
And if they don't come, great. Yeah, it's like our job is not to, the job is not to change the world. That's impossible. I have a hard time changing myself. So how can I change the world?
Right.
I can't even change my partner or anything. I don't even try, because I see it's fruitless, because I see how challenging it is to change myself, to get out of my programs and stuff. So that is our job. That is what we need to do, one by one, each one of us. And then the 100 monkey effect can take place. I don't know if you're aware about that.
Yeah.
But it's like the critical mass. Yeah, if we, and it's not an ego trip, it's just a matter of fact. We are somewhat different. We had a taste of the divine. And if we reach a critical mass, then it will spread out and all of humanity will get a taste of what that is. And then they can go on. Yeah, but it's not a direct job. The job we have is indirect. We have to change ourselves. We have to become self-aware. And that makes the change.
So
does that answer your question?
Yeah, you know, I mean, the idea is like, how do we inspire the people? So being present in it and allowing their curiosity to be sparked. Now, let's say their curiosity is sparked by, say, watching this. now what's their first steps to becoming more present? Because there's a weird paradox. There's a weird paradox here, right? Because it's the pathless path to the gateless gate, right?
Yes, it is quite crazy. And well, the first step really is the desire to it's so crazy because you can't directly do it, but you have to do everything in your power to get there, and it's really crazy. But I guess the first step is to, yes, I want to find. Yes, there is more to life than meets the eye. What is it?
Openness.
And then I start
openness.
Present. What's that?
Be open. Be open.
Yes, be open, and also have there needs to be these Osho often says that if you don't have, or I'm not supposed to say he says that, I've heard him say, because we always interpret things in our mind. Yeah, you say
right.
something and I understand something completely different, and so I heard him say, if I don't have this desire, this inner fire to find that which is undescribable, which I don't even know what it is in the beginning, that is the thing I need to have. And I was fortunate. That's the first step, to see if I have a desire to change. Do I want to change, or am I happy with my misery?
Well, but again,
my little happiness?
It's not really change, is it? Because we're not talking about changing from one thing to another. We're talking about realizing the now.
Yes, it's not a change, because in the end I cannot make the change. I just can be walking the walk. The change will happen while I walk the walk, and but if that desire is not there, it's like my sister. She is depressed and in misery. She has no desire. Nothing will happen. There's no way for anybody to change that. But some of us, there is this feeling inside, this emptiness, that even in the most beautiful moments of being in love, and I'm like, wow, it's all so good. If I really look, there's something missing. There's still something. This is not it. This is great. This is fantastic. And that is the first step. Acknowledging that there is something missing, which I'm looking for. And then I step on the path. And yes, this is this dichotomy. I think that's the right word. But it's like Buddha, for example. He was having that desire. So he left in the middle of the night and started searching. And for 7 years, he did everything possible. Like went to all the masters and did whatever he could. And then finally there was no more master to give him an insight. There was nothing left anymore. And then in the end he just, okay, I did everything I possibly could do. And he relaxed. And it happened. That's the ultimate accident, right? And that's just being impatiently patient.
Right.
We can plant the seed, and without planting the seed, the tree will not grow, or the flower. But even just planting the seed doesn't work. I have to nurture the earth. I have to water it. I have to take care of it. And then the seed has the ability to grow.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee. There is no guarantee in life. But without that yearning, without that inner desire, nothing is going to happen.
Right.
And we can spark this desire by being an example.
Right. And the desire is there in everyone, like that fire to return home. It is there in everyone. It's just might not be so obvious.
Because desire is there. It's always like, oh, I'll change, I want to be better, I want to have more this, I want to have more that.
Right.
And
Maybe it's the...
that's why I made about the Netflix documentary, because then people get a little bit, oh, maybe that, let me check the show out, and then they can Google and hear some things and feel maybe, then they search out and stuff. It's, again, yeah, it's like we can only spark this desire. But in order to that, we who had a taste already and went for that have to go all the way. We really want to, specifically in this time where we are at the brink of a change, and there's a possibility that all of humanity goes either down the drain or we ascend and become our beingness, become this potential we have. And so for us is sparking that desire, or sparking, or showing people. Like for me, I was looking for years and years and years, and then I met Osho, and I was like, oh yeah, right, there is more. I'm not just imagining things. It's not just a fantasy. Life has more to offer, and we need to be that spark, transmission of the lamp, where people then really can feel, wow, how do you get there? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Tell me more.
Yeah.
And then we can share. But it really comes always back to, and this is so important in this time. I did a little video on my YouTube channel about the choice we have right now. We can either choose to fight. We can choose to fight for the good side, or we can choose to fight for the bad side, so to speak. Or we can choose to wake up.
So this is back again to this duality, the yin, the yang, and the bit in the middle, the ida, the pingala, and then the something.
Yeah, it's not the middle. It's more like being above it.
Right.
It's more like being out of this duality.
Right. Of course, the neutrality of it.
For the good. Yeah. It's like, and that's the same with my pain and misery and joy. Pain and misery is the other side of the coin of joy and bliss. So if I only want to yearn, if I only want to go for the joy and bliss, that's not happening, because without the pain and misery, there is no joy and bliss. Right. But if I go above it, if I'm like above it or beyond it, I just experience, or there is an experience of joy and bliss, but I've got nothing to do with it.
Right.
And which is really crazy, because Osho for many, many years started off with like, watch your pain, misery, anger, all this stuff, what we call negative. And it really, through the experience of doing that, there was a distance. There was like, I'm not really identified with it. I had nothing to do with it. And then one day he goes, okay, guys, now you watch your bliss. You watch your joy. And then my mind immediately goes like, wait a minute here. That's what I want to be. Why would I want to be disidentified with my joy and my bliss? That doesn't make any sense. I tried it anyways. And I had a beautiful sexual encounter that night. And I I was a watcher of me having this beautiful feelings and experience of love and connection and stuff like this. And being not identified with that made this experience undescribable, different. Wow. It's really crazy. But being above it, both of them, being the watcher, the observer, not being identified with, oh, this is beautiful. Right? Then all this mind stuff comes in, what happens when it's gone, and this and this and this. No, when I suddenly went above it, or be the watcher, I could really experience it in that moment to the fullest. So yeah, it always boils down to going beyond the duality. And that comes to being the watcher, being not identified with the bad or the good.
Right.
They're just experiences.
Wow. My first teacher said, it's so obvious we miss it.
Sorry, say that again?
My first teacher said, it's so obvious we miss it.
Yes, it's like don't see the trees. I don't know.
The woods for the trees.
Don't see the trees because you look at the forest or something. Like
Don't
that.
see the woods for the trees. Yes.
Yeah. It's obvious, and for whatever reason, this planet is. And I say this planet because I do have remembrances of being in different planes and different realities, and I'm not really that familiar with this place here, but there is a big force here to keep us down, to make us sheep, slave, for whatever the reason. I don't know. There's many ideas about beings who suck on our energy and this and that. I don't know. But I do know that there is a big effort to keep everybody down. The school system, the education system, the social system, the churches and religions, it's all to keep us down. Why? I don't know. Maybe we need a bigger challenge to wake up. And we are in jail.
Yeah.
And the jail is inside.
Right. It's the inner.
Jail is not outside.
Yeah, the inner prison that we're freeing ourselves from. Wow.
Yes, and that's why I call it not my word, but often I say freedom from myself.
Right.
That was the biggest gift I got from Osho, is freedom from myself.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, Vinaya.
That's the goal.
Exactly. It has been such a pleasure to talk with you. We've come to our time. How do people get in touch with you? You're seeing people online, or you see people in person?
How can they contact with me? Well, I have a website, psychiccrystalreadings.com, and my Facebook page, Satyam Vinaya. I have a YouTube channel called Karmic Awareness Catalyst, and
Okay, maybe you can put the links under the video in Facebook.
I will. Yes, I will do that.
Well,
yes.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing some of your wisdom from your Osho times and the now. And the now time.
And the now. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be able to be and share my isness.
Wonderful.